Support Name Explain on Patreon for ad-free videos, exclusive podcasts and blog posts, and to help choose what names get explained. Click the link in the description. First names. We all have them, and they come from a huge variety of influences across language and cultures. In fact, we have a whole series on the channel where we look into first names called Fun with First Names. You should check them out, they're fun videos and then get enough love here on the channel. Anyway, those videos come out on a Monday, and today is Wednesday, and on Wednesdays we talk about geographic names. Now, if only there was a way we could mix first names and geographic names together. Well, luckily there is. As I said, inspiration from first names can come from all over the place, and one area of language that have proven to be a popular source of first names is with the names of places on our planet. People have been naming their babies after parts of the world for some time now, and there's multiple reasons as to why we do this. One main reason is simply because the names of these places sound nice and do make nice baby names. Parents like them sometimes because of the exotic unique sound many of them give to a baby, especially if the baby isn't from the part of the world it's being named after. And of course there's the other reason as to why people sometimes name their babies after parts of the world, and that's because the baby was born or even conceived there. It might sound silly, but it seems more people are named in this way than you might think, especially in the world of celebrity baby names, but that's a whole topic unto itself. It seems that the most popular kind of place names for babies are with the names of cities. Loads of city names are now being placed onto babies, and while these parents are naming their babies after cities due to their fondness of the place and the feel their name gives off, it's kind of a full circle thing, as a lot of these cities are named after people in the first place. The best example of this is with Austin. Austin has become a popular gender neutral name, but is seemingly more popular with boys, and its popularity seems to stem from the city of Austin in Texas. According to the site Nameberry, my go-to site for first names, Austin is one of the most attractive city names for babies with an attractive southwestern feel. However, the city of Austin was actually named after a real person, that being Stephen F. Austin, who is known as the father of Texas and the founder of the state. So his last name became the city's name, and then the city's name became a first name. Like I said, full circle. Two other great examples are Sydney in Australia and Charlotte in North Carolina. Parents naming their baby after the Australian city are in turn naming them after Thomas Townsend, the first Viscount of Sydney, as the city was named in his honour. And likewise, babies named after Charlotte, North Carolina are named after Charlotte of Mecklenburg-Strelitz, wife of George III of Great Britain. Another interesting example is with the name of Shannon. Shannon is a popular name unto itself, but there's also a town in Ireland named Shannon, which is named after its nearby river, and in turn this river was named after a Celtic goddess with the name. So if you happen to be named after this town, then you are actually named after the river, which is named after the goddess. So the town is named after someone, just a mythological someone. Though not every first name inspired by a city comes from a city that was named after someone. There are many cities with names of unique origins that have become popular first names too. Take Paris in example. The French capital is named after the ancient Gaulish tribe who once lived in the land, the Palisi, whose name might come from the Celtic par meaning boat/barge. Paris has built up quite the reputation for itself as a city of love and beauty, so it's no surprise that people wanted to attach this image onto their children via using the name of the city, and thus Paris as a first name was born. Another city with a lovely sounding name is Florence in Italy. The city's name comes from the Latin Florentia, meaning blooming/flowering, as it was a city coming to its prime at the time when it was named, what with it being the birthplace of the Renaissance and everything. It became a popular name in the English speaking world, however, as the name of Florence Nightingale, the creator of modern nursing. And funnily enough, she was given this name because she was born in the city. Like I said, it does happen. Brooklyn has too become a popular boy's name in recent years. The borough of Brooklyn in NYC wasn't named after anyone, but comes from Old High German meaning moor/marshland. And Dakota has become a popular first name too. While the name of Dakota is used as the name of multiple towns and cities across the USA and even two of their states, it's a word that originates from the Native American tribe/language of the same name and means friendly. It's easy to see why a word with this meaning would become a first name. Sometimes, however, naming a baby after a city, town, or even state just isn't enough. What if you want to name your baby after somewhere bigger? Well, luckily for you, the names of entire nations have also been adopted into the world of first names. When I think about baby names that are also nation names, three in particular come to mind. These big three we'll talk about in a moment, but as I mentioned, the site I primarily use for first name information is Nameberry, and they list all kinds of nations names that become first names too, despite not being as well known as those aforementioned big three. Cuba is listed as being used as a first name, and there's one particular Cuba that comes to mind, that being the actor Cuba Gooding Jr., most famous for the film Snow Dogs, among other things I guess. In an interview he said the reason he has Cuba as his first name is a family tradition started by his grandfather, who loved the island nation and met his first wife who died before they had children there. So when his grandfather had a child with his second wife, the name Cuba was used and then passed on to him. While I'm sure other people have been called Cuba, he's the only one that comes to mind for myself. The island nation of Cuba, however, isn't named after anyone in particular, but comes from an unknown and native origin. Another nation name made popular by celebrities is Ireland. This country's name was used by Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger when naming their daughter. Ireland Baldwin is now a model and actress. It seems that the name did have some staying power thanks to the celebrity couple giving it to their daughter. It seems to have peaked in 1998 in the USA as the 890th most popular girl's name that year. It seemingly stayed in the lower quarter of the 1000 most popular girls' names before disappearing from the rankings in 2015. Nameberry even lists that Bolivia and America have been used as first names too. While there are no examples for Bolivia, with the name America, we have the actress America Ferrera. The site claims that Bolivia could be used instead of Olivia if you want a name with a Latin flair. What I find so interesting about these two, however, is that both of these nations' names originate from actual people, with Bolivia being named after Simon Bolivar and America being named after Amerigo Vespucci. So if you meet anyone with these names, they are named after the nations named after people. Once again, sometimes names just go full circle. China, along with some spelling variations, has become a somewhat popular first name too. This of course originates from the nation in Asia of China. The name China itself is thought to possibly derive from the Qin dynasty from the land. At first it seems that some musicians started using the name for their daughters, including Michelle Phillips of the Mama and Papas, using the spelling variation of China for her daughter. It seems the name was at its most popular across the 90s with women, so if you're a woman named China who was born in the 90s, let me know. So what about the big three I alluded to earlier? Well, these are the three nations whose names have become incredibly popular in the world of baby names, those being Jordan, India and Chad. What's interesting here is that two of these nation names are direct inspirations for them being used as first names, while the other one is just a coincidence. The two that had first names creating an ode to the nations are of course Jordan and India. Let's start off with the nation of Jordan. This Arabic country is neatly positioned at the crossway of Asia, Europe and Africa, making it have a location of great strategic importance. The nation is also home to many popular tourist sites such as the Dead Sea and Petra, using the Indiana Jones films. Hey look, another location-based name I forgot about. Another important site in Jordan is the River Jordan, and it's this river that the nation is named after. So if the nation is named after the river, then how did the river get its name? Well, its name in Hebrew is Yarden, which is thought to derive from the Hebrew Yarad, meaning descend/flow down. And it makes sense for a river to have a name relating to flowing, as that's what rivers do. But how exactly did it become a first name? Well, it does of course directly relate to the country, as looking up the first name brings up the same meaning of flowing down. The waters of the River Jordan was where Jesus was famously baptized, and during the Crusades, water from the river was brought into Europe so European children could be christened with this holy water too. And children christened with this water would go on to be named after the river, hence how it became a popular first name. Since then, Jordan has remained a somewhat popular gender neutral name that seems to be just a tad more popular with boys than it is with girls. It seemingly peaked in popularity for boys in the 90s, thanks to a certain basketball player who had it as their surname. India is too a nation named after a river that runs through it, that being the Sindhu, which simply means a large body of water. The name Sindhu is of Sanskrit origin, and the name of this river varies quite a lot in different languages. Iranians pronounce the S as an H sound, which explains to us where the name Hindu comes from. As for the Greeks, they pronounce the river's name as Indus, which is not only still the river's English name to this day, but is also where we get the English language name India for the nation too. To this day, India is still a rather popular girl's name. In fact, it is perhaps the most popular nation-based name. It first started its rise in popularity as a first name in the English-speaking world in the 1800s. It was during the 19th century in which the British Raj was in full swing over in India, so perhaps more and more people are hearing this name for the first time and hearing tales of this exotic land all the way over in Asia. In 1881, it was the 422nd second most popular girl's name in the USA, going down after that before disappearing from the top 1000 in 1912. It would re-emerge, however, in 1970, almost 100 years after its initial popularization, as the 760th most popular girl's name, and then through the 80s, 90s and early 2000s, it would remain somewhat popular, peaking in 2001 as the 299th most popular girl's name in the USA. It seemingly disappeared in the 2010s, but is making a little bit of a comeback now, it would seem. And finally we have Chad. Now, despite being the name of a nation and the first name, there isn't actually a link between the two. It's just a coincidence that these two names are the same. The nation of Chad is in North Central Africa, and like the two we previously mentioned, is also named after a body of water, but a lake this time, not a river. Lake Chad is an important water source for not just Chad, but the surrounding nations too. The lake's name comes from the local language and means a large expanse of water, which is actually pretty ironic for a country that is majority made out of desert. Chad as a first name can be its own thing, but is also seen as a nickname for other names like Charles and Chadwick. Chad seems to be a name of Old English origin, with their name of Ciada. It's thought to possibly ultimately derive from the Welsh word cad, meaning battle, hence why other sources say the name Chad means battle warrior. Chad was once an incredibly popular name in the USA, maintaining in the top 100 through the late 60s to early 90s. However, in 1999 it started to plunge in popularity, dipping in 2017 as the 956th most popular boy's name. And there's a reason this name dropped in popularity, and that's because of the stereotype that started to surround the name Chad. To begin with, that stereotype started just a generic hunky teenage boy in the USA who was popular with women, though it seems in recent years the Chad stereotype has been used more in anger to take aim at men like this in various online groups. The use of this name and other names in these groups could quite honestly be a video unto itself. But nevertheless, Chad is still a name that is shared between people and the country, though I don't think that Chad is full of Chads. Places with human names was suggested by Grey Computer, and thanks to their suggestion, they will now be honoured as Name Explain's patron saint of places with human names. Do you have a good idea for somewhere that's name could be covered in a Name Explain video? If so, then please consider donating on Patreon. Just $1 a month helps keep the channel running and earns you a weekly chance to suggest somewhere to be turned into a video, and you too could be a Name Explain Patreon saint. Thank you to all my patrons who support Name Explain on a monthly basis. Patreon is vital to Name Explain, and donating just $2 a month allows you to enjoy ad-free videos and bonus patron exclusive content. It also allows you to help choose what names get explained in upcoming videos, and get your name here with all these awesome people. Thank you so much for all the support you guys give Name Explain. Hello all, and thank you so much for reaching the end of the video. Check out another video and subscribe to stay in the loop on all things Name Explain. You can find me on Twitter, I'm at NameExplainYT. On Instagram, I'm also NameExplainYT, and on Facebook, just search Name Explain. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and once again, thank you all so much.